Good morning, beautiful people. All right, I'm doing a microphone test because I couldn't get my sound together this morning. So if you can hear me, okay, on live, say hello, good morning, happy to see you. Let me know if you guys can hear me. If you're new to the Daily Fix, if this is your first time joining, my name is Brittany Noel. I am a mental health therapist out of Houston, Texas. And today is our public session in the Daily Fix. So that means we have a lot of guests in the Daily Fix this morning. So if you are a guest, say hello to us. Tell us your name, where you're from, where you're joining, or where you're watching from. We are so happy that you are here. Anyone who invited you to the Daily Fix today invited you because they love you, okay? They know what happens here in the Daily Fix. They know the work that we do in the Daily Fix every day. And today is absolutely no different. We are back for an amazing topic, all right? If you're on TikTok, hello TikTok, welcome, all right? I haven't started the Instagram feed yet, but we'll be on Instagram in a moment. But this is our time where we try to invite other people into our community so that they can see what we do Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. The Daily Fix Tribe gets to tune in with me. And, we talk about different things. Every month has a different topic. And the last couple of months have been pretty heavy. We've been talking about how to heal wounds. We've been talking about how to identify our wounds. We've been talking about how to heal and recover. So there were a lot of heavy sessions the last 2 months. The month of August, we wanted to lighten it up a little bit so that our topic for the month of August is preparing us for the love connections that we want. All right. So we're talking about dating standards this month, whether you're dating because you're single or dating because, you're in a marriage with somebody that you love to date, or you ain't ready to date, but you need some information when you get ready, right? That's the conversation that we're having this month. So I'm happy that you guys are here. TikTok, I see you guys from South Africa. Okay, I see you in the UK. All right, we're going to have to make our way worldwide. Shout out to everybody who was at Heart Talks Miami. Okay, listen. Oh, well, let me go ahead and let Instagram in. We could go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So to everybody that was in Heart Talks Miami, all right, we had a wonderful time. Okay. I love seeing you guys in person, all of the volunteers, all of the TDF members. Listen, y'all just delight my little heart. Okay. Heart Talks Miami was so much fun. I just, it's rewarding to just get to be able to just, enjoy what I do, enjoy working with the people that I work with. You guys are amazing. So I'm so happy that you guys are in Miami. I just realized I didn't use the vertical live, but it's okay. We'll deal with that later. But yes, so Heart Talks New York is next. We will be in New York on August 23rd. That is my birthday show. That is the tour finale. So we'll be finishing our tour in New York with all of the New York TDF members. I can't wait to see y'all. We are going to have fun in August. Remember, the dress code for the birthday show is sequins and sneakers. All right. So put on something shiny and let's have a good time. I'm so excited. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for the last Heart Talk show in New York, you can do that by going to the hearttalkstour.com. Can't wait to see you. All right. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. All right. Outside of that, for my TDF members, you guys know that we have our gala coming up in January. Y'all know where to get the information for that. It'll be open to the public in September. So if you are a TDF member, you already have access to register for the gala that we'll have in January. We announced our TDF ambassadors. So in the chat, give it up for our TDF ambassadors. The TDF ambassadors are the people who will be hosting the private meetups in the local cities. All right. So I think we got Atlanta, we got DC, we got a virtual meetup group, and there's two more: Atlanta, DC, virtual. Maybe there's a Chicago. We're going to figure it out. Okay. All right. I'm ready to hop into today's topic. Instagram. If you guys are just joining, welcome. You are tuning in to you're tuning into what is. Oh, I think it logged off. I think so. Okay. Our live session, our live feed. So this morning, I told you guys I was excited about today's conversation because we were going to be talking about something that we don't hear talked about as much, especially when we talk about learning how to enter into the dating world in a safe way. We hear a lot about red flags, right? All day, every day, somebody will tell you what to look out for and what, if they chew like this, or if they say this means that. And so one, there's a lot of people will teach you a lot of mind reading as a way to not get hurt in the dating world. And it makes you more paranoid than actually preparing you for the dating world, because now you become this person who, one, is not communicating because you're seeing all these cues and you're seeing all these flags, and you are now jumping to conclusions and making assumptions about what you think these behaviors mean instead of getting clarity on what they actually mean. So I do not promote mind reading in the Daily Fix. I do not promote us jumping to conclusions. I promote us noticing, observing, having a conversation. Okay. Noticing, observing, having a conversation so that I can get clear on what exactly did you mean by this? Because this is how I took it, but I don't know if that's what you meant, right? Giving people a chance to actually communicate their perspective, because there could be some things that I'm missing, right? And then I decide from there what I want to do with it. That's what's in my control. So this morning, I want to talk about the green flags in dating. How do I know when it is okay to lean in? How do I know it is okay to invite someone into the kingdom? How do I know that this is someone who is showing me signs and glimpses of emotional maturity? We're going to talk about that today. What is he? How can I even tell if this is someone who is emotionally mature, and what does that look like? But okay, my voice is still recovering from this weekend, so I cannot yell. All right. Had a choking fit. So let's go into the green flags. If you're ready in the chat, say ready. Ready in the chat. TikTok, I think I can see y'all's comments. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. All right, ready in the chat. Ready in the chat. Let me know if they're in our on our YouTube live stream. Let me know if you guys are. There we go. Okay, there must be a delay. Perfect. Okay. Alrighty, so let's hop into what our green flags are. Because the reality is that when you are out in the world, meeting new people, kind of learning how to trust again, learning how to believe that there are good people and I can have a good relationship, we have to understand that through every connection we have, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be greeted or ending in chaos. That it is possible in today's world to find people, not just in my romantic life, but to find people who feel like peace and who come with peace, right? But I have to be able to know how to recognize it when I see it. So first and foremost, when you are meeting new people, some of the green flags you want to look for. Number one, Can they practice self-accountability without shame? Self-accountability without shame. Okay. You guys hear me talk a lot about um, partnering with people who know how to be self-accountable, right? Being self-accountable means I know how to admit when I'm wrong. I know how to say sorry when I've offended someone or when I hurt someone. I know how to acknowledge how my actions or how my words may have made someone feel a certain type of way, right? So self accountability is when this person is able to see themselves, so they're self-aware enough to see how they could change something, do something different, make a new decision so that the relationship is restored or repaired, right? Self accountability without shame means that they can do all of this without becoming defensive, without deflecting, and without spiraling into guilt, whether it's guilt on your part or guilt on my part. They are able to listen to whatever your grievances are without trying to justify their behavior, right? So self accountability without the shame sounds like I can see how that affected you. I can see why you feel that way. I understand how we got there. It wasn't my intention for it to land the way that it did. How can I do this differently? Or that's something I won't say again. I didn't know that was a problem. I have no problem fixing that. And they can do that without the shame of, well, I'm sorry that hurt you, but you really got to work on that. Like, you shouldn't be so sensitive, right? You shouldn't be so sensitive, or you shouldn't take it that way, right? When someone tries to change how I feel about a situation, that doesn't always point towards a green flag. It happens, but it doesn't always mean that that's a place where I can feel safe, right? In relationships, it's not about everybody getting everything right. We're all going to get things wrong. We're all going to drop the ball. We're all going to say or do something that at some point will hurt our partners. None of us are perfect, right? So it's not about, are they doing things that make me feel safe all the time? But when the ball is dropped and I'm aware of it, they're aware of it, or I bring it to their attention, are they able to actually be accountable for it in a way that doesn't make me feel bad for bringing it up? Are they able to be accountable for it in a way in which we can still maintain our closeness, right? And typically what gets in the way of that is when they pair self-accountability with being defensive or deflecting, right? Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but last week you did this, right? And so they can't just hold what happened with them because the ego doesn't like to be wrong, right? So in some way they have to make you wrong along with it. And that can deteriorate a relationship. So don't confuse accountability with perfection. You are looking for, I always say, the green flag in a person is always the willingness to repair. It's not a promise to never mess up. It's not a promise I'm gonna get it right. I'm never gonna do this. People mess up. People get things wrong. But you will always know if this is someone who's worth the effort that a relationship takes by how willing are they to fix what's wrong, right? Are they actually willing? Are they actually attentive? I can work with willingness. I cannot work with, that's just how I am. I've been like this for 15 years, right? So self-accountability without shame is the first thing that you're looking for. The second thing that you're looking for is clear communication. A green flag is clear communication. For all of my New York, all of my New York babes, let me see. And I know I'm just picking on New York, right? Because New York has a culture of being very blunt and straightforward. Some places in the South as well. But clear communication does not mean blunt communication. Clear communication does not mean harsh communication. Just because you say, well, I'm telling you the truth, or I'm being honest, you can tell the truth in a way that is still compassionate. You can tell the truth in a way that is still kind. You can tell the truth in a way that still takes my heart and my feelings in consideration. So I say this because, one, a green flag with communication is not just can we talk about issues, but it's also how they handle me when we talk about issues, right? So I say that because one, there are people who think if I just tell the truth, that's enough, right? Um, and mind you, we're pairing this conversation not just with green flags, but also emotional maturity. Am I emotionally mature enough to be honest in my relationship and show up honest while also being mindful of the heart of the person that I'm communicating to? That's a huge that's a huge green flag for emotional maturity, right? So when they are telling me the truth, do they couple that with kindness? Are they giving it to me in a way that's honest, right? But I can feel the love and the honesty. So what they say, tough love, if you are being honest with me and they say, oh, that's tough love, I should be able to feel the love and the tough love. All right. That's number one with clear communication. But with clear communication, we are looking for people who are no longer subscribed to the mind games that are being played in this world. All right. Because this is a big one. I have never understood. Well, I won't say never understood, because back in 07, 08, 09, right? The games of, if they text you, don't text back immediately. If they call you, don't answer the call immediately. Pretend like you're busy. Otherwise, if you don't, then they won't value you, right? Sound nonchalant when you talk to them. Like all of the mind games of how to communicate in a way that is evasive, that is not honest, that is confusing. All of the things that we are literally taught, right? Someone told me, oh, don't text right away. Like you'll hear that all the time. Make you, I think in 2025, they teach women to be what, the black cat, how to be mysterious. Listen, it's all mind games. It's all manipulation. It's all teaching you how to not show up as your authentic self in one of the most important relationships that you say you want. If I want to be in a romantic connection with a partner, I can't do that going into this connection being deceitful. I am manipulating you into liking me. And then you wonder why you never feel safe in the relationship, because you know you're not showing up as your real self. Any games you played to get the relationship, you have to continue those games to keep it. Right? So when we talk about being clear with communication and not playing mind games, we're looking for partners who call when they say they're going to call. They text you when they say they're going to text you. If I reach out to you, it ain't taking you 3 days to reach back to me, right? They express their interest with clarity, not confusion. A green flag is when someone is able to give you clarity, meaning they can give you definitive statements. They're not communicating with you in ways that leave you guessing. If you ask a question, they give you a clear answer. It's not an evasive. It's not a maybe. It's not a this. It's, this is what I can do. This is what you can expect from me. They are very clear and not confusing in how they communicate with you. If you get off the phone call with them and you're confused about what just happened in that phone call, that's not a clear, that's a clear indicator that honest communication did not take place, right? Most importantly, they don't disappear when things get real, meaning that once we start having some honest conversations, once we start having those deeper communications, they don't just, disappear for a few days because things were getting heavier, right? Clarity is a form of safety. You should not have to decode what their silence means or what them pulling away means. You shouldn't have to obsess over the mixed signals where one moment they're hot and heavy, the next moment they're evasive and, avoidant. It should be a consistent flow, right? Honesty is consistent, y'all. Honesty is consistent. I always say, anytime things get confusing in a relationship, somewhere somebody ain't telling the whole truth about something. It's really that simple. Anytime things get confusing in a relationship, somewhere somebody ain't telling the truth. And sometimes it's they're not ready to tell the truth. Sometimes they don't know what their truth is, but somewhere there's missing information, right? The reason why clarity is important when we talk about green flags in a relationship is that this is how you are able to be in a relationship with someone and have a nervous system that is at rest and not reactive. Okay. I want you guys to think back to all of our conversations about attachment styles. If you are in a relationship with someone who is constantly disrupting your sense of safety, you will not be able to rest in that relationship. That is a red flag. So the green flag is being with someone who cares enough to communicate with me in a way that my nervous system can be at rest, because I'm not always guessing and trying to figure out and trying to think, well, what does this mean? And do they really like me, or do they still feel the same? Our communication is clear. When I ask you a question, you give me the answer, even if the answer hurts my feelings. Okay, I would rather my feelings be hurt over the truth than to my feelings be cool and it's all a lie. All right. So clarity is a green flag, that there's no confusion when you're with them. You're clear about where y'all stand. You're not guessing or second guessing. You don't have to go to, mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin asking, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You got your clarity from the relationship. Third point. The green flag when we are meeting new people, we are looking for consistency, not intensity. We are looking for consistency, not intensity. Intensity is the love bombing. Oh my gosh, we just met. They brought cookies and candy and they took me out and we ate at Ruth Chris and we did these things and we did these things and we did these things, right? And so with love bombing, the intensity feels good. Number one, because it's very different, right? Especially if I've had some low value experiences. And then I meet someone who's doing all these things right off the bat, it feels really good. And this is the truth about why love bombing works, that people who cry love bombing won't tell the truth, right? There's only reason. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that stage. There's a reason why love bombing gets you, okay? Right? Because if we're being honest, the intensity felt good. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to hang on to this. I want to keep this, right? So the intensity, especially if there's like natural chemistry, that intensity is intoxicating. Okay. It feels like it feels like you're high. It feels like you've been on some drugs and it feels so good. Right. And so what happens is we now focus on how good the intensity feels, not really focused on whether or not we're building connection. Right. So we're focused on, oh my God, this feels so good. Like I feel like I've known them for so long. Like when we get together, it's like we've known each other since kids. Like we just hang out and we just do this and we talk about this and we do that, right? But if you actually just slow down and ask yourself, what do I actually know about them? Like, what do I actually know? Like, I know they make me feel good. Like, but all of our conversations and all of our interactions are just about feeling good. We haven't actually built anything real yet, right? So the green flag is someone who, one, is willing to move slowly but consistently. They're not pulling out all of the thrills to impress you. They're not pulling out all of the thrills to get you in an emotional state that will work in their favor. Okay? They want to please you, right? And this will show up in how they dress on the date. This will show up in the effort that they put in planning dates or planning their time with you. This will show up in how they ask certain questions. What do you like? What do you enjoy doing? And they'll be very intentional. So you'll see how much they like you and how well they go, how much effort they put into the getting to know you process. But it doesn't come with these big explosions of emotions, right? A consistent green flag looks like, hey, I know you said you like books. Let's go to the bookstore and pick out a book. It ain't Ruth Chris. We ain't got to get all dolled up. There are no big bangs that come with this. It's a simple bookstore trip, right? But in that trip, without all of the emotional dopamine, I can now, one, see this person clearly. They can see me clearly. I can show up as my authentic self, and we can focus on building connection over time, not overnight. You build connection over time, not overnight, right? With consistency, their effort matches their words. With consistency, their effort matches their words. Man, I really miss you. Okay, I'm going to trigger somebody in the chat. I miss you so much. I just miss seeing you. Y'all live in the same city. Why you ain't pulled up? Why you ain't scheduled a date? Why? You miss me so much, but you have put no effort into seeing me, right? That's someone who is wanting to draw on your emotions, right? And they will use words, but their words don't match their actions, right? So with someone who is consistent, their effort will match their words, all right? And it'll stay like this over time, not just when they first meet you, okay? All right. So intensity can be mistaken for intimacy. They are not the real thing. They are not the same thing, right? But emotional maturity is not about performing affection. Emotional maturity is not about performing affection. Once you get really centered and grounded, you'll be able to see a performance easier. A performance looks like the people they perform being head over heels, or they perform being into you. Here's what I always say about performance is that performances only last for so long. They only last for so long. Right? And when people are performing, they're looking for an applause, or they're looking for a reward. So when I don't reward people for their performances is when I see who they really are. Because when they don't get the clap, when they don't get the access that they were hoping to get, the real them will show, right? And so you just have to, this is why it's better to be very intentional about the pace in which you move with people, because, and stand on your boundaries, right? Because those two things alone, the people who are performing will automatically deselect themselves. They will get tired of performing and not getting what they wanted, and eventually they will just leave. They will leave. They will block you. They will ghost you. Whatever it is, right? But when they perform without getting what they want, they will exit from your life, right? So yes, consistency is a green flag, not intensity. All right, next green flag. They are curious about your inner world. They are curious about you. They ask questions about you, right? It's not just about how was your day, but it's how did something make you feel? Like, what excited you today? They will remember the names of the people in your stories, right? So as you talk about your friends, or as you talk about, your work life, like they'll be like, oh, was that Sharon? They'll remember, right? Because they're actually listening to you when you talk. But they are curious about you. They have questions about you. They have questions, and not just, what's your favorite color, but it's like, how did you, do this? Like, where did you grow up at? Like, what was it like being the only child, or whatever it is, right? But they want to know about your history, but they also want to know about your mind, like what excites you, why do you feel a certain way? And they're asking you questions that are about more than your sexual preferences. Okay, can we go there? Can we go there? Okay. And I say that for, if you're a veteran in the dating game, you know how it goes. But curiosity about things that only work in their benefit is not true intimacy, right? But they have questions about what you like, why you do the things you do. They remember the things that you said you're afraid of, or things that trigger you. They remember what you're passionate about, because they're genuinely interested in you and not just what you have to offer them, right? It's the curiosity that will build the intimacy. you're not reduced to just a role or an object to them. You actually feel seen, you feel heard, right? It feels good when you can actually connect with someone and then they remember certain things and they're like, hey, I know today was your presentation. How did it go? Right? I know you were worried about this thing. Did it work out? Right? They're actually tuned in to what's going on with you. Keep in mind though, right? Curiosity is a green flag. It's a green flag. But you have to share in a way that invites curiosity. Yeah. You have to share in a way that invites curiosity. If you are guarded in the dating world, it will communicate to other people that you aren't open to talking about yourself, that you aren't open to sharing about yourself, and the people will not ask. If you are dating from a guarded place, it will communicate to others that you're not open to their curiosity. They will stop asking questions, right? So curiosity is a green flag that we want to lean into. Regulation over reactivity is the next green flag. How well do they regulate their emotions? How well do they regulate their emotions? Meaning, are they just blowing up when they're upset? Do they pause before responding, right? Especially if we're talking about a hard topic. Can they express emotions without turning them into weapons, right? Those are the green flags we're looking at when we talk about emotional regulation over reactivity. Most importantly, this person doesn't outsource their emotions on you, meaning they know how to sit with their own discomfort without making it your fault. Right. So they can say, I'm upset. I don't feel well. Something is going on, whatever it is. But the conclusion that they draw is not, I'm upset because of you. I'm angry because of you. Right. They know how to sit with their emotions. And even if they don't, they can't, because, if I can't articulate how I feel, cool, but they can notice it, identify it, and sit with it. Right. So with emotional regulation, we're looking at how well this person manages their emotions. Do they shut down? Do I stop hearing from you? That's a big one. Do I stop hearing from you when you're going through something? Meaning, when they're struggling emotionally, they, without any warning, they just disappear, and you'll hear back from them in a week or two. That's not a green flag. That's not a green flag, right? That is not a green flag. That's a conversation we need to have. Because while that may be okay in friendship, right, it may be okay in casual interactions, it doesn't necessarily, it won't help us build a real relationship if that's how you handle your emotions. If you have to retreat and you don't give me any heads up, you don't tell me what's going on. So now I'm left confused, holding the pieces, trying to figure out what's going on with you until you get ready to re-enter. That's not a healthy way of dealing with emotions, but it's common in today's world. Okay, and the last one. I'll give you all the last green flag. They have a willingness to grow together. They have a willingness to grow together. Knowing that someone is willing to grow, because people will say it all the time. Yes, I'm open. Yes, I want to grow together. Yes, we can build together. But how do I know that what they're saying is actually true? Because this is where a lot of people who are dating based on potential, this is where y'all get real delusional very quickly. A willingness to grow together means, one, you are open to feedback, right? Most times they're asking for feedback, right? Hey, how did that go? Did you like when I did this? Or how did that feel for you when I said this? Or even, because I'm very sensitive to, shifts and changes, right? So I'll say, hey, I noticed that you got quiet. Like, did I say something wrong or did something happen? So I will ask for feedback because I want to know, like, especially when you're getting to know someone new, you just never know. You just never know what could trigger or what could rub someone the other way, right? But you will know that someone is willing to actually grow and build with you because, one, they're open to feedback, they welcome the feedback, and they can take feedback without being becoming defensive. They ask for your perspective, and they're not stuck on the, well, I've been like this, or I was like this in my last relationship, and so that's why I don't do this. Well, I was romantic in my last relationship, and they never appreciated it, so I don't do it anymore. Okay, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Right? It ain't got nothing to do with me, right? Anytime somebody refers back to their last relationship, that's a red flag. They ain't got nothing to do with me, right? So a willingness to grow is someone who is actively learning about you, and then they are willing to put into practice what they are learning. So if they learn that you like flowers, they're gonna buy you some flowers. If they learn what kind of cologne you like to wear, they're gonna buy the cologne. Okay. They have a willingness to grow, and they're not stubborn, they're not set in their ways. This is just how I am, this is how it's gonna be. All of that's not someone that I can work with. Those are people who are communicating to you that if you want to be here, you can, but just know I'm not changing. So when they say stuff like that, believe them. Okay? Growth is not about being fixated in just being one place. It's about how do we evolve together. There is no such thing as being in a relationship and no evolution takes place. Evolution takes place both individually and as a whole, right? That's what creates the relationship. Now, the relationship itself, period, being in a relationship will mature you, because every relationship will stretch you. Every relationship will force you to grow. Every relationship will show you your weak spots. It'll show you where you haven't been a good communicator. It'll show you where you've been emotionally dismissive. It'll show you where you haven't been the best partner. And now my relationship is forcing me to grow. Okay? So, am I willing to lean in when my partner says, you were really dismissive when I talked to you yesterday? Am I willing to lean in when my partner says, I would really like it if we had physical touch more often? Am I willing to lean in when my partner says, hey, you got an attitude with me. I didn't really like the way you handled me the other day, right? You can stay stuck on your position all day, or you can say for the best outcome of this relationship, I got to stretch, I got to grow and lean into it. Okay. What breaks relationships down is most people see the growth, right? Or the need to grow, and they take it personal, right? They'll take it as a personal failure, and they will look at it as, okay, my partner's tearing me down, or they're picking at me, or they're fussing at me. And so instead of seeing the critique or the feedback as a opportunity to grow as an individual, they look at it as, oh, they always got something to say. Like they take it as a negative, right? And true, if you are with a partner who's very critical, them being picky is definitely a thing. But also, it could also be true that I need to grow to be a better partner. Okay. All right. So those are the green flags. Now, this is what I would tell you is that, do we need to know the green flags for dating? Absolutely. But you also have to become a green flag. What's so funny, because I think it was in LA that someone asked me, like, what are the green flags? Because all I do is get these people who I think she said they were like scam artists or something. She was like, all I do is get these people who, aren't good for me. Like, how do I know what are the green flags? How do I know when someone is worth dating? And the truth is, of course, I gave her the long answer. But the short answer is, you will know green flags. It's easy to know what the green flags are when I have become the green flag, right? So when I become someone who respects communication and I text back right away, I follow up with people. If I say I'm gonna call you back, I'm gonna call you back. If I say you can count on me, you can count on me. If I say that this is what I want to do, or I'm very clear and I'm very honest, I don't ghost people. I let people know where I stand with them. I don't leave people guessing. When I have become that person, it's easier for me to identify people who are also on the same level that I am. So when you become the good person that you're looking for, it's easier to find the good people, right? Because I'm such an honest communicator and I communicate with love and I communicate with clarity and I don't leave people guessing. When you don't have that same value, that is an immediately turn off to me. Because there's no way that I'm treating you as a human being who deserves this amount of respect, who deserves to not be guessing. Because y'all have heard me say it before. I'll say it's an unloving act to leave people guessing. I don't think that it's when you understand that people are walking around here with all types of attachment styles and abandonment issues and all of that. It's an act of love when I text you back when you text me. It is unloving, it is unkind to leave somebody on red and not address whatever is going on, right? But that's my own value system. That's my own belief system, right? That's someone that I became. So when I'm interacting with other people in the world, I can see who people are based on who I became, right? So you have to ask yourself, for the person that I'm hoping to be in connection with, or I am in connection with, would you feel safe dating you? Would you feel safe dating you? With the way that you communicate, with the way you deal with patterns, right? Would you feel safe dating you? That is the question of the day, all right? When it comes to green flags, keep in mind, green flags are patterns, not performances. Meaning, in order for me to see a pattern in behavior, I have to know somebody for at least 3 to 6 months, right? That'll show me what your pattern is. I give everybody grace. I told this to someone the other day. I meet you initially and I give you grace, even if some things you said or did, rub me the wrong way. But I was like, okay, they may have something going on. Today may be an off day for them. I don't know them well enough to make a judgment. So I'll give them grace. But the next time I come in contact with you and I'm getting that same energy and I'm seeing the same behavior, that is no longer an incident. This is a pattern. The longer I know you, it's like collecting data. Okay. As a researcher, I love my research classes in school because they taught me about patterns and how to collect data. Okay. I'm now collecting data and the data shows me that three out of the 4 interactions I've had with you, you've been very like passive aggressive. That's a pattern. It's you not having a bad day every day. That's a pattern, right? So when we're looking for green flags, we are looking for patterns. This is why when people are dating and they tell me how they treat them, all well and good. I'll say, how have you seen them treat other people? If you want to know if somebody is a giver, don't pay attention to what they give you. What do they give other people? Because how they show up with you could be motivated by whatever it is that they want from you. But where I'm looking for the pattern and the behavior of who they are is how they show up with other people around them. Don't that is a I always give the leadership example. And, and I say if he was a leader, you would see him leading in other areas of his life. People don't just show up and now all of a sudden he's a leader for you. If he is truly a leader, he would already be leading in other areas of his life, right? If she was a nurturer, you would see her nurturing in other areas of her life. So you're looking for patterns of behavior, not just how they interact with you. So we look for patterns. We acknowledge the patterns. We call it what it is. We don't call it something else. Okay. And understand that the green flags are always glimpses. They are not guarantees. So even if I see 25 green flags and I'm really enjoying this person and I like this person, it doesn't guarantee that they are, one, going to be my person. And it doesn't guarantee that the behavior at any time won't change. That's the risk of falling in love. That's the risk of, putting yourself out there, right? That's the risk of love, right? So green flags are glimpses. They are not guarantees. And just because someone shows potential doesn't mean that they're in a place to build. Doesn't mean that, right? And just because somebody's a good person doesn't mean they're your person. I'm going to leave that there before I go off on a tangent. Okay, how we feeling? How are we feeling? Y'all know that I was going to give you guys the song of the day. And I think I forgot it. Hold on, let me see. I forgot the song of the day. Well, let me make sure I give the right one because I know I gave the wrong one last week. Hold on. Yes, okay. The song of the day is Ledisi High. High, not High. So like high, as in how high. So yes, that's what I want you guys to marinate on. We are allowing ourselves, like I said, I think when people teach red flags, all they're doing is teaching you fear, right? They are teaching you how to, it's one thing to be self-aware. It's another thing to be hyper aware. And most people become hyper aware out of the fear of getting hurt. And so you are good at identifying what disqualifies a person, and you have no idea how to identify safe people in my environment. You have no idea how to identify who's safe, who can I lean on. And most times when you do find safe people, if you're in a space where you're still operating in fear, you will run away from the safe people because it's foreign. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to interpret it, right? So that is what I want you guys to focus on. Now, to all of my people on Instagram and TikTok, you guys have just watched what we do in the Daily Fix every day. My fixers in the Daily Fix, they join us every morning at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Because we have hard conversations about different topics every day. And then on Fridays, we have our live question and answers. So if you ever say, I wish I could ask Brittany a question, then you want to be in the Daily Fix because the Daily Fix people get all of my attention. Okay. I am with them every week and we have some great conversations, especially during our live question and answers, because that's where you guys get the feedback that you need to move forward. Right. Thursdays is where we do our Heart Talks replays. So if you ever wanted to watch the full replays of the Heart Talk shows, then you want to join the Daily Fix. All right. The goal for this month, like I said, I wanted to lighten it up a little bit for us because we've been on some heavy topics. But the goal for this month was to give you guys tools, right? I got a lot of questions about dating and being back out here and, how to trust the process. But you don't have the skill set, you don't have the tools. So all this month, I'm giving you guys tools to actually date from a healthy way. Like I literally had this conversation this week. Someone asked me, like, why don't you write a book about how to date in a healthy way? And I was like, first of all, there's a lot of books out there that will tell you how to do that. But if you have self-awareness, if you have boundaries, and if you are clear about the vision of the type of love experience that you want to have, that'll take care of a lot of it. I promise you, that'll take care of a lot of it. You got to have emotional regulation, though. That's the thing. You have to have emotional regulation because most times when we're picking the wrong partners, I promise you, you knew you were picking something that wasn't solid. You felt it. You felt it on some level, and then you talked yourself out of it. So that's why having skills for emotional regulation is important, because it'll help you know, okay, when am I going into my unhealthy behaviors that will allow me to even, go down that road. Okay, y'all. I want y'all to have a beautiful Tuesday, a wonderful Tuesday, a terrific Tuesday, tantalizing Tuesday, tremendous Tuesday. We will be back for the Daily Fix. We'll be back tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow morning with you guys. I will be in Arizona at the Powerhouse Women's Conference this weekend. Okay, so if you're in Arizona and you want to see me live, come to the Powerhouse Conference. And I can't even tell you where. It's in Arizona. It's in Arizona. It's on my website somewhere. And then next week we will be in New York. All right. New York, New York, New York for the closeout finale of Heart Talk Store. All right. So y'all have an amazing weekend and I will see you guys. Daily Fix. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. TikTok, Instagram. I will be back with you guys probably next week. We'll do our not after dark. We'll do our normal Tuesday night live next week. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye.